wholesome one. So we know, obviously, for any particular team, their season ends sometime in December, 1st of January. Everybody is involved with and knows about spring practice, but there are workouts between the end of the season and spring practice. Similarly, the next big time in which the entire team's together is that first week of August. It's right around August 1st that the team gets together, and we know, okay, it's fall camp. A lot of time between mid-April, when most teams are playing a spring game, and the 1st of August. So give us a feel, since you're right involved in the way the calendar looks for a college football team, what happens between the end of spring practice and the beginning of fall practice? Is each individual also given kind of a rundown of, this is how your spring played out, and you need to work on A, B, and C?
Absolutely. That's such a great question, Mark, because I could take it two routes, as a fan route and other route as far as doing it and seeing it. Well, a lot of tough conversations happen after spring, Mark. A lot. Because what happens is you had the early enrollees, okay, then you have summer session A, summer session B, and then you have the late enrollees. They can't. So there's going to be a wave, an influx of upgrades, because the job of a coach is to recruit over you every single cycle. All right. I'm not going to go, if I got a 5-star back, I'm not just going to take 3 and 2-star backs for the next couple of years to make you feel good. No, I want to fill this room with the best players that I can to force whoever is that elite player to the top. And eventually you are going to move on. So therefore I need people behind you to keep it going. So these tough conversations where you sit down and you have your post-spring wrap-up conversations, and you have it with a position coach. It usually goes in 3 ways: position coach, coordinator, head coach. Or sometimes it's just the head coach. Then you have your private talk with your position coach on the side. It's not really an official thing. But they all have grades. They all have a viewpoint of you as a player. They all have what you can do to help this program and what you can do for yourself as a football player, all in their minds. Okay, when we sit down, we convey these messages and we sit and talk. Sometimes tears are shed, sometimes it's laughter, sometimes it's just passion, sometimes it's anger. Okay, it really depends on how you know this young man that you're speaking to and how they're going to interpret this conversation. But a lot of those tough things, because man, it can go a couple of ways. If you have a tough conversation, let's say you have a young man where you recruited someone who's not really on their level, but you know that they're going to come and push them for certain things, whether it's weight room, whether it's IQ tests, whether it's playbook tests, to where it's like, all right, we took a project player at your position this cycle, but don't get comfortable because it won't always be like that. All right. And that player can get comfortable and say, you know what, whatever. Or as soon as they leave that meeting, that player can head to the weight room. As soon as they leave that meeting, that player can go and hit the field in these practice indoor facilities and get into it and get it going. One of the other beautiful things is when the young man sits down and they absorb everything you have, and then their response to it is, okay, well, how can I change that viewpoint? How can I make myself better, coach? What am I not doing? What are some of the things you need to see off the football field for on the football field success? Because some of those things do correlate. Obviously, if I see your transcripts, you got 2.3 GPA, and I know you're way higher than that. That shows that you're not putting the level of importance that you need in everything in life. So I need you to up that. And when you do that, it's also going to help you on this football field, because your attention to detail and what you really want to get done and learning, prioritizing, man, it'll take you to a different level. So those type of conversations do happen too. And sometimes you sit down and you're talking to the big time defensive tackle who you know is probably going to be a top 20 pick. And the main thing you're telling him is, please don't do anything stupid. Please don't have the head coach calling me or have your fellow players calling me, come pick you up from the bar because you just gotten into a bar fight. And now I have to beg the media not to put it out to the local news. All right. Don't get in any trouble with your girlfriend. I need you to keep your clean nose. I need you to keep training. I need you to make sure you're staying healthy. You know, don't be out there playing basketball and tear ACL. All those type of comments. Those things happen too. Sometimes they're pretty easy peasy. Hey, you know you're big time. I know you're big time. There's a little couple things we can add to you that make you even better. But I need you to not mess this up for the next 8 months. I need you to keep a clear head. And Mark, one of the toughest ones is when you're basically talking to a bubble guy. Okay, you're talking to a young man where you've over recruited them. They're a red shirt, junior, senior, somewhere in there, going into their last time really contributing to your football program. And you have to look them in the eyes, and it's tough because you could honestly feel like you failed them. You could honestly feel as though you could have done more to help them. And you still know deep down inside that they may not have done everything, but it's still on you. You're the adult in the situation. You're the coach. All you can hope is that whatever is said here, they can take that. And for the next 8 to 12 weeks before you see them again officially a part of football program, that they have been putting all type of work in and reshape that body, reshape that mindset, and are ready to really go out there and change things for the better of them as a football player. But it can be good, it can be bad. And most of the time it's somewhere in the middle because depending on the coach, there's always something. We've all had managers like that where they just find something wrong. They find something to complain about. And there's coaches out there like that too. There's coordinators and who are like that also. But when it comes to Miami, I think a lot of the latter happened with a lot of our older players. I think some of them got pulled aside and will be getting pulled aside. I don't know if they're going to be handed transfer portal papers to fill out, but they're going to have that conversation where we're not holding back and you haven't lived up. So pick a route here. Pick a route here.
Got 25,000 subscribers, and I'm very appreciative of that. And there are people in fan bases. You could go to Purdue, you could go to Maryland. I've got very, very what would be considered lower level programs in the grand scheme of things that have fans that tremendous in their support for me. But as a whole, there's no question that the Miami fan base supports me like nobody else. And here's one guy right here. We know him, Rowan. Ronan, thank you so much for showing up as you typically do. As you come into the live streams for the other shows and support and lift up the Canes and lift up our channel. So thank you so much for the super chat there, Ronan. Shout out to the hardest working man in the FCS, coaching by day, talking Canes by night. Head on over and support Mark on Patreon. Thank you there, Ronan. Yeah, you can catch us on Patreon. The links in the description section in any of the videos, or just go to Patreon, search Mark Rogers TV, $5 a month, 16 cents a day. Keep up the great work. Gentlemen, go Canes.